guys, it's DANESSA. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing another review for you guys, but today's going to be a little bit different than a usual review that I do. So usually when I review a foundation or any product really, I will try to review it for at least 3 days for you guys and kind of switch out products, do different combinations. But in today's video, I'm actually doing a kind of battle between two formulas. I'm going to be comparing the new Huda Beauty foundation formula to the old original Huda Beauty foundation formula. If you guys did not know, they are getting ready to boot this old formula for the new formula. So I wanted to see if they had justifiable cause, because you know, sometimes brands will replace stuff that just didn't need to be replaced and then the replacement is worse. So I kind of wanted to see like what the tea was with this. If you guys are interested to see my thoughts on the new foundation versus the old foundation, make sure to keep on watching. Also, if you are a binge watcher, I have a whole playlist of reviews just for you. Before we go any further, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. I already went ahead and did my eyebrows and my eye makeup. For primer today, I'm gonna be mixing two. So I'm gonna be using this Huda Beauty, the Water Jelly Hydrating Primer. It was actually supposed to be an essence when they first formulated it, and then it ended up being a primer, and I really love this stuff. And then I'm also going to mix this with the DANESSA MYRICKS Smooth Effects Refined Gel. Usually I will never just use a hydrating primer, cannot, will not. These pores are too big, but I really love the way this step feels. It almost feels like an extra skincare step because it's really cooling, super lightweight, gives you a glow that's not oily or sticky. Now that I'm smelling this, if you guys have ever smelled Huda Beauty products, they are very, very fragranced. The smell is actually pretty light in that essence, so it's not too overpowering. I am really curious to see how this foundation does, because the original formula I've always been a fan of. I purchased the original formula when it first came out like 2 or 3 years ago, and I've always really loved it. And the scent really never bothered me until I really heard other people talking about how overpowering it was. And I've wanted to try her setting spray, but everyone says that the scent on that is like 100 times stronger than it is in the foundation, and it's pretty strong in the foundation. But it's a really good formula. It's really long lasting, has a really nice coverage, super lightweight. So I'm really curious to see what the main differences are between the new formula and the old formula. This video is going to be a shorter review. It's not a 3-day wear test. I only do 3-day wear tests on products that I'm like completely not familiar with at all, and I'm like very familiar with the old formula. Today we are going to be comparing the old formula. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter High Coverage Foundation, and then the new formula name is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte. Packaging is completely identical. I was looking at the colors, and I think I pointed this out in my haul that I bought this in. These are both in the color 500 Mocha G, but I think because I've had this old formula for so long, you can see it's a lot more orangish yellowy than this one is over here. I actually have a in-depth review on the foundation stick from her line, so if you guys want to go check that out, I will put it up here. I always forget which side it's on. I think it's on this side, but we'll see if I'm right. It looks like on Huda Beauty's website, they still do sell the original formula. I was under the impression that they're getting rid of it. Oh, they are. Okay, so up in the little box up here, it says last chance. So I think what they're doing, replacing the new formula with the old formula. You guys can still get your hands on the old one, but I wouldn't think for much longer, because it doesn't look like there's even that many shades left, and it's half price right now. So the original retails for $40, but you can get it for $20 right now if you want. It's supposed to effortlessly smooth and even the look of skin texture, diminishes the appear of blemishes, hyperpigmentation, and redness. And it's also supposed to have a natural radiant matte finish. I feel like it's pretty matte in my opinion, and the coverage is full. Now I'm going to see what the claims are for this other one. Now this one also does retail for $40, and it looks like, yeah, there's a lot more shades in this one. I think the main difference between these two is that the new one is supposed to be fragrance free. It's also supposed to hold up to 24-hour flexible wear. So it claims to be like the original formula, but improved. I can already tell that the colors are going to be different. I was curious to see if the colors were going to be the same from conversion. I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell you guys that, because I've had this for so long that I think it just oxidized. I wanted to see if there's a huge difference on how the two wear on the skin, the coverage, and the finish of it. We are going to go in with the original one first, and I have two of the same sponges. These are the shape of them. They're the exact same thing, just different colors. So I wanted to use a different sponge on each side of my face. That way the formulas aren't mixing. I'm just going to start with a pump on this side. I have learned, especially like the past few weeks, less is truly more with makeup. I am like pretty heavy-handed with product. Don't know why, I just always have been. It makes me feel better, like an insurance-y policy or something. I'm gonna do another half pump. Now this foundation is a little bit thicker, but that also could be because I've had it for like 2 to 3 years. But at the same time, you guys are probably like, okay, why did you keep it that long? Because to me, it's worked the same the whole time I've had it. It really has not changed as far as performance wise. I'll go ahead and zoom you guys in. This is what a pump and a half looks like on the face. It's on the thicker side when you first pump it out, but it does not feel super heavy on the face at all. And it gives really good coverage. For the sake of today's video, I am gonna go ahead and just add another pump just to see if we can truly build it up. It added a little bit of coverage. I'm curious to see how this is gonna dry down. I just used this not too long ago and I feel like it had a pretty matte finish. We're gonna go ahead and dip onto the other side. I'm really scared to see what the color difference is between this. Now we are going in with the Luminous matte one, and the consistency on this one is about the same. Colors are a little bit different. If you guys look up close, this one is a little bit lighter. Hopefully I don't look too wacky, but I was curious to see if this one was gonna be any more liquidy, and it's about the same consistency. As you can see, I'm holding it vertically and it's still keeping its shape. Right off the bat, the first thing I noticed, this one does not have as strong of a smell. There's like no smell to it actually. If you don't like Huda Beauty products for the reason that their fragrance is pretty heavy-handed, I think that you would like this foundation just based off the fact that it's not very fragranced. I will give you like my full recommendation, but just first impression. I know this hasn't dried down yet, but it definitely does look a little bit more glowy initially. And the coverage looks to be a little bit more sheer. That's my fault. I've only used a pump. See, this is why I keep track of these things. Well, that side is definitely noticeably more buildable, but that could be because I just went in with less product on this side initially. I'm not seeing any huge like drastic differences in coverage. I almost feel like the pump over here got me a lot farther than the pump and a half did over here, because I still have like a little bit of extra left and I only used a pump. So this is what a pump of the new looks like, and then this is what a pump and a half of the old looks like. Now, if you were to use a brush, you probably would get a little bit more coverage than this. When you use a sponge, it does take a little bit of the coverage away because it does soak up some of your product. But I personally like the application of a sponge like 8 times out of 10 better than a brush. It just really depends on the formula. The only time I really tend to use a brush is if I'm using like a really super thick foundation like the Juvia's Place I Am Magic. I would say consistency wise a little bit thicker than normal, but it's not so thick that it can't be worked into the skin with a beauty blender. I'm still gonna give this side some time to dry down. This side does look a little bit more matte than this side over here. Now this does claim to be Luminous matte, which when I heard that I was very thrown off because I've never heard anything ever claim to do that. Both sides of my face feel about the same in heaviness. I mean, like I can tell that I have makeup on. I have a feeling this is not gonna dry down. People confuse me when they say like Luminous matte, because how can you be luminous and matte at the same time? The new one comes in 40 shades. I'm really not sure how many the old one came in. Even though the colors look pretty different in the bottle, you can't look at my face and be like, oh yeah, this side of her face is a completely different color than this side. I would say that if you have tried the original formula and you're looking to try the Luminous, you should be good just going over to your direct shade. You'd be surprised how many brands change the color of a formula but keep the name the same. This gives me more natural vibe. This side is definitely more matte. Original, no. Doesn't look bad. Application wise, there's not any like super huge differences. The one that stands out to the most, like I told you guys, is the smell. And also I would say this side is a tad bit more glowy than this side. I am gonna show you guys pretty much the rest of my face because I want to see how this foundation interacts with other products. For concealer today, we're gonna be using this Huda Beauty, the Overachiever concealer, and this is in the color 24G Peanut Butter. And the reason I'm using like a lot of Huda Beauty products is because in my mind, when a brand comes out with like multiple products, they're telling you, hey, this foundation is probably gonna work the best with this concealer or with this powder. So I wanna give these products the best chance that they have. So most of my complexion is Huda Beauty, but not all of it. Oh, why do I not use this concealer more? If I wasn't awake before, I'm awake now. Quickly, I'm gonna bronze the face, Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer, and this is in the color Blaze. I think that's a little too natural, so I'm gonna go ahead and top that off with this Fenty Beauty Matchstick. This is in the color Espresso, so this is gonna be a little bit darker. Is it just me? Look at what just happened. It like took to my bronzer weird. Like the two did not want to mix versus over here. Here it didn't do that. For cream blush today, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. Putty Blush, and this is in the color Caribbean. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Super pretty berry color. I think I used this in my last video too, but I just love it so much. I'm gonna show you what I see first and then kind of give you an explanation. It's like the blush is like sitting on top of my skin over here. It's not like soaked in versus over here. it's definitely like soaked into the skin and it's working with the foundation, versus over here I feel like it's sitting on top. It could be one of two things. It could be A, this foundation is so old that the formula is literally starting to change and it's not wanting to work with other products, or just side by side, this is looking better than this. Because sometimes I found you can have your opinion about two products in your head that you think are similar, but until you really put them side to side, that's when you're gonna be able to see the main differences between them. If you're a person of prayer, please pray for me, because I just do not know what's happening at all. Well, now I'm going to set the under eyes. I'm gonna be using this Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the color Cinnamon Bun. This used to be one of my favorites. I haven't used it in forever. You know, like when you have loose powders that are translucent but they have like a little bit of color to them, and usually they kind of just blend into your skin. No, like this powder actually gives texture coverage. Like you can physically see it. Maybe if we put powder on top of everything, it'll look a little bit better. All over the face, I'm going to use this Haley's Beauty Reset Perfecting Powder Loose Setting Powder. You guys know this is my favorite. I honestly wasn't sure like if I was really going to be able to tell a physical difference between the two sides, but I think I can, because my cheeks look really good on both sides, but on my forehead, my lines are like kind of more accentuated over here than they are over here. I mean, it's doing it over here too, but it's definitely doing it worse on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my face up real quick and then I will come back to you guys. I really didn't expect to see any huge differences physically until I started wearing the makeup, but I'm already kind of starting to see a little bit. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in as close as I can get you. The best way I can explain this, I was putting my mascara on and over here, my pores look a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if they look bigger because the makeup just kind of looks like it's like sitting on top of my pores, like it's not in there, versus over here, it's not that bad. Like it kind of has the same thing going on, but it is nowhere near as noticeable. The best way I can describe it is my pores look like darker than the rest of my face. They look like almost like freckles. I am really curious to see how these two wear. Right now it is 10:38. I started filming at about like 10 o'clock. I'll also touch up, that way we can see what it looks like on the two sides compared to one being touched up versus the other. It's not bad, but if you really look up close, like especially right here, you can see where the foundation is also gone too. Once both sides of the face are set, there's not a huge difference in finish. I feel like they're both pretty matte. I will see you when I'm ready to take this off. Guys, it is currently 3:16, so I've had this makeup on for like 5-ish hours. I'm getting ready to blot my face, so I figured I would just do it on camera. From first impressions, I really do not have much shine. There is a whole patch of makeup that came off over here. It's weird because my mask sits like this. It's not like it was on the line of the mask. And then over here, still have that transfer of when the makeup came off when I initially applied it. There's like no makeup left on my nose at all. I almost feel like this side looks a little bit more matte than this side does. What do you guys think? I'm gonna go ahead and blot using this Haley's Beauty Retune Blotting Powder. I'm really just gonna blot right in here and around my nose. There's really not like much oil peeking through. That completely smoothed my pores. You may not be able to tell, but this side versus this side. As far as wear, I'm really not seeing any differences as far as like the makeup breaking down any faster on one side than the other. The only two things that are really like concerning me is the makeup has completely rubbed off right here, so that worries me as far as transfer goes. This wasn't initially like this versus this was initially like this over here. I don't know, I'm almost seeing a bigger difference in application than I am in the actual wear, which like never happens. I figured that I would like really like one better than the other, but I really don't as of right now. But I'm gonna wear this for a couple more hours, so we'll see how it wears. All right guys, it is currently 5 o'clock, so I had this on for like another hour and a half. We can see what's obvious here. The makeup completely wiped off on this side. I have never had a foundation like rub off this badly. Just to remind you guys, this side of the face is the original formula. This side of the face is the newer formula. And look, it even did it down here too. I'm impressed because I actually cried. You wouldn't be able to tell. There's no watermarks on either side of my face. The only things different about this side of my face and this side of my face are the foundation. Everything else was completely the same. So if something's looking different, then like I kind of have to use logic. It is the foundation. Honestly, looks a little bit more skin-like on this side, like just a tad bit. I honestly feel like there's not a huge difference in like upgrading the formula per se. I kind of feel like there's wins and losses from each one. So like this one, original formula, losses are obviously that the fragrance is really, really strong. Losses on this side, it does not seem to be very transfer proof. Even if a product does not claim to be transfer proof, I feel like that's something that I I really need to mention because I know that a lot of you guys are still wearing your masks. I still wear it. I don't feel like the new formula is like a super big upgrade or anything like that. I don't know what happened over here because I'm telling you guys, I have used this foundation for years and it has never done what it did over here when applying it. I love the original. It's a great formula. I would love to say the same thing about this one, but this patch is just worrying me. I don't know, guys. I think we're gonna just leave this like inconclusive. If you guys have tried both formulas, let me know what you think. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. That's gonna be the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.